You are watching the Global Gamers Invitational Tournament brought to you by iFixit. SCVs for the real world. The Handsome Nerd, attire for the handsomest of nerds. And Esports United, sponsored by Intel. This broadcast is also made possible by HuK TV, TeamLiquid.net, and of course, Blizzard Entertainment.
Go. Alright, okay, so we're back. This is the Global Gamers Invitational. We're going to see that in the top spawn on Lost Temple we have Stalife against HuK, who is going to beat the Teal Protoss at the 9 o'clock position. HuK, of course, has been doing very well in tournaments recently, including a win at MLG Raleigh, with, him going to be heading to DC in just about a month to try and repeat that. Definitely going to be the favorite in this series against Stalife, who is a very good Terran, just hasn't got any of those big tournament wins racked up on his side yet.
Not yet, indeed. And as Stalife did point out earlier on for us, this is a best-of-5 series. We are here in the round of 16 of the Global Gamers Invitational Tournament. And I do want to once again thank those sponsors. We have iFixit SCVs for the real world, also Esports United, sponsored by Intel, and the Handsome Nerd supplying our StarCraft 2 t-shirts.
So a lot of excellent sponsors there. They've been with us since the beginning. This tournament did start in the beta, like you said several times. Had some delays along the way, had to replace a couple of the people who were initially invited. But we are now down to the final 16. They're going to be duking it out for the big prize pool. And so far, if you look at their builds, nothing really out of the ordinary yet. They are in the close positions on Lost Temple. So ground aggression is going to be perfectly viable early on. We'll be watching Stalife to see what kind of a build he opens with, if he's going to go for a quick expansion or if he is going to be trying to put some pressure onto HuK. HuK is known for starting off with Zealot rushes in PvT though, so we'll have to keep an eye on that and see if he actually goes for any of those sorts of early aggression attacks.
Yeah, so far it is too soon to tell what either player is going as, and I know people hate this word. We are seeing standard play from both players. The one thing of interest is HuK starting off with that early pylon to the far right of his base. That's nice to give him the opportunity to warp in units outside of the sight line of that center Zelnega watchtower if he wants, and also there to detect any sort of shenanigans, Reapers popping up the cliff, and lets him hide tech if he wants from Terran scans.
Yeah, in these positions it'll be much safer. If you do that and then he winds up being at the 6 o'clock position, then you are in the risk of him just moving forward with a single medevac and picking off a free pylon. But there's much less of a chance that Stallife's units are going to be down in that general vicinity with these two spawn locations. HuK actually stole a gold mineral patch with his scouting probe. Taking a mineral patch is very common because if it gets into trouble you can hit the return cargo button and it'll walk through units. But just being a little bit cute, he went up to the gold to do that. Going to deplete that just a little bit. And HuK does have his first Zealot out.
Yes, and we do see that Stalife is going for what looks like a bio-heavy build, getting that concussive shell right away. Also has the 2 extra barracks coming up. HuK, meanwhile, has that, like you said, the first Zealot, first Zealot Stalker combo. So we're going to see a conflict here in the middle already.
Yeah, and this is really early. HuK catching him before the second Marauder pops out will help him slightly, but concussive shells does finish, and the second Marauder comes into the fight as well. So Stalife should be able to kite this Zealot, take that out, and relatively even trade there, except it will hurt HuK a little bit, because losing the Stalkers early is annoying. You do have to rebuild those Stalkers, and if you wanted to build something else like a Sentry, it'll just have to wait until you can get those Stalkers out just for protection. So, do see him reproducing those. Second one is going to be out in a moment. He did go for a 1-gate robo build, and the robotics facility has just finished chrono boosting out an observer. Going to take a look at what Stalife is doing. Once he sees this, he will be wanting a Sentry.
Yeah, definitely. The biggest pain there is losing that Stalker, delaying the Sentry. That is really the the Protoss ace in the hole, which he needs in case of Terran aggression to block off that choke point, even for a few seconds to get units out. And you'll see HuK playing in a very defensive posture. He has his stalkers piled up on that little cliff edge, giving him early firing. What he doesn't have is that Nelsonika watchtower, and that's one of the real problems with what happened in that exchange. Is HuK, as a Protoss player, has an early advantage with those stalkers, high mobility, and is usually able to deny SCVs controlling towers, and he's lost that now, so he's playing in the dark, and that's why the Observer really going to give him the information he needs to see.
And HuK actually dropping a quick expansion. His Observer is going to fly in here, and he might realize that this is kind of a bad idea. With his opponent going 3 racks, no sign of his own expansion yet.
He's also picking up that robotic space, so he's going for fast Colossus, and definitely not ready for this push from Stalife. I don't think there's any way he's going to have Colossus up in time as Stalife moves out early, and he did lose that Observer. So Stalife looking to be in a very good position, HuK looking very overextended with both a tech strategy and an expansion strategy, just not building any units to speak of.
Yeah, and Stim is going to finish right about when Stalife arrives at the front door of his base. And these units will probably force a cancel on this Nexus if he does attack, because I just don't see how HuK is going to be able to defend this in this position. If he was up his ramp, he'd be able to force field, chop the army a little bit, and be able to hold this off. If Stalife had gotten here just a few seconds later, and that Nexus had finished, that would have been a major blow to HuK, but he is able to cancel it there right at the last second. Now he's got HuK trapped up his ramp until he can get some Colossus out.
And Stalife really needs to grab an expansion or get up that ramp soon. He doesn't want to move up. He knows there's sentries. He's scanned. He sees it. Knows that if he tries and gets to get up, he will get cut in half. And every second goes by, brings that Colossus closer to completion. He's bringing up those SCVs, and we'll see how this goes. A lot is coming down to this attack.
Yeah, and he does have the energy for force fields. He's just trying to use that positioning here with these SVs at the top to give vision for his Marauders to shoot up as well. HuK has plenty of energy to keep force fielding here. Starlight's looks like he's gonna continue to keep pushing forward, but the Colossus does pop out. He traps some of the units there at the bottom of the ramp. Great force field by HuK, perfectly placed. He's gonna be able to wipe out this army if he keeps this Colossus in good positioning. Oh, he just took a bunch of shots from those Marauders. That was really dangerous. He does barely get it back up the cliff. And there goes the rest of the army from Stalife. He did not get any sort of expansion started. Instead, trying to get that starport up and running with a reactor building on the factory right next to it. He's just going to try and get as many Vikings out as possible. But after having lost that army, even if he gets some Vikings out, I'm not sure how he's going to be able to defend this push.
You said it perfectly. The real mistake there is Stalife really going for an all-in, didn't grab the expansion when he could have afforded it, and now he's dealing with the Colossus and doesn't have the resources to handle it. And this could very well be the end of the game already.
Yeah, HuK doing some good control with this Colossus up and down the cliff. Range has not finished yet, but there just aren't enough forces on the ground for Stalife for him to hold that off, and he is forced to give in the GG, going to give HuK the 1-0 advantage in this best of 5 series.